Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, happy Thursday, happy CPI day. We've got some movement. We didn't really get as big of a move from like the initial CPI as I thought we would. We did, run out levels of liquidity. We are seeing finally, for the love of God, this bullish push. And I want to bring your guys' attention to the higher time frames here on the 4-hour. So, well, actually, we can also jump to the daily. As smart money concept students, this daily time frame can be a little bit misleading sometimes, just because we like to go off of the New York midnight open, not the actual open of the the 24-hour charting time frame that is just generally used. But nevertheless, looking at the daily, what do we see? We saw price ran out sell side liquidity down here. We ran out sell side on both, and then we closed back in the range. And then now we're working up higher. We're working on taking out this low. On the 4-hour, what's interesting about kind of using these candles to find your bias, it's interesting on ES. It's also interesting looking at the difference on NQ, and this is why it's kind of affirming the bullishness. So if you were bullish in terms of institutional order flow, you shouldn't expect, especially on a higher time frame, you shouldn't expect both candle high and low to be taken out. In a bullish market, you would expect the low to support, and then you'd expect it to run out the high if you're bullish or low if you're bearish. Here on NQ, you see that, right? You see that the low supports. What do? We run for the high. On ES is different. We obviously whipsawed and took out both. So just looking at this, keeping our same bias in mind, the only way I'm going to be willing to get short is now that we're taking out like Wednesday London high, we took out Wednesday AM session, Wednesday PM session highs. We do have opening range gap below price. I want to see if we create SMT here at this London high, or if obviously we just run right through it. So the only way I'm looking to get short realistically is going to be a reaction off of these highs. And in all reality, that's going to be with a bias in mind of kind of like a sell to buy scenario. So what I would want to do would be, if we get short, from here, then we're going to end up looking to target, obviously, these levels. It's going to give us a nice trade. But whether that's later today in PM session, assuming we get a short, or whenever it happens, I wouldn't also mind, after taking out some levels of liquidity here, to start getting bullish again, if that happens. Now, the alternative is, because we've been bullish all fucking week, right? So because of what is going on the daily, on the weekly time frames, we're seeing this reaction finally, for the love of God. So I'm not naive to the fact that we may, keyword may, have to, if we don't get an opportunity to actually get short and then catch a good move from it, we may have to get long kind of along this leg up, like bouncing off of the CPI high, using it as a breaker, using this 1-hour gap as an inversion gap that we just ran through, things like that. And then we'll look to obviously target the buy side levels. I'm still bullish, guys. Like nothing has really changed. A little bit more manipulation than expected yesterday, the day before. I genuinely don't. I've never once doubted the bias this week. Your bias is kind of determined on where you think the weekly is going to expand, right? But we were just kind of on the wrong side timing wise, and that's my fault. I don't shy away from that. Potentially could have looked at things differently, had a little bit more of an open mind, a little bit more neutral. But we'll see how this week closes up. Obviously, it's Thursday today. We got CPI going on. We got unemployment today. We've got PPI tomorrow with one other thing, isn't there? Yeah, so we've got consumer sentiment tomorrow with PPI. So I still think we're right on track, believe it or not. And I think that's also important to keep in mind. I think when you get kind of dragged through the mud like we did yesterday, or I can't speak for all of you, but I can definitely speak for myself on that. It's easy to kind of like second guess everything at that point, and I don't think that's the right move, personally. Because if that's the case, then we're gonna end up just getting run through the mud on the other side. We're gonna be trying to short this thing, And then this is going to keep going up, and we're going to be like, oh, nice, we've been bullish all week. Just to have it run us out when we're trying to get short finally. You know what I mean? So, yeah, nice little order block move, you're right, on both NQ and ES. You guys can see this fair value gap. The problem with it, though, I was looking at it. I was literally watching it play out in real time, and I'm just like, well, I'll tape read this, but the reason I didn't enter, can anybody guess why I didn't want to enter here? The reason is because this candle right here, I'm Central Time, by the way, so maybe that is probably what's maybe throwing you guys off. 8:30 Central is 9:30 Eastern. I'm an hour behind New York time. So this candle was right smack dab right on opening bell. We could have the prop firm conversation, the live trading account conversation till we're blue in the face, and they both have their pros and their cons. Like, just to put it all in perspective, last week I had a red week on Top Step, I had a green week on MetaTrader. How's that happen? The trade management spot, they're like the differences in the way that you trade funded evaluations in live accounts. There is a difference. I think there has to be a difference. The management style, I think, also probably should be different to some degree, in terms of like stacking winners, but also, you know, just paying yourself or not being greedy, waiting for a big move. And that's why, like I've been telling you guys, I've had the best of both worlds in a sense, being able to partial consistently normally on MetaTrader, right? Partialing at 5 handles per se and TP1 versus like on Top Step. You know, I started off doing that, and then it really felt like I was crutching myself. So then I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna hold for at least like 10 handles or a solid take profit 1 or 2, which is anywhere from usually obviously 7, 8, 9, 10 handles or beyond. So I haven't traded the Top Step account consistently in the sense of like I've switched up my management style a couple of times. In full transparency, like I've never really considered myself like a prop firm funded account trader. Like you guys know my story. I've had my ass handed to me from prop firms since 2020 to 2021, and I'm like, you know what? I'm done with that shit. I'm just gonna focus on live accounts and personal accounts. So I don't have the deadlines, I don't have the rules, I don't have the XYZ, and that's where I'm still performing the best is that style, and I just think that's important to keep in mind, because I think there are some people that like they are just dead set on getting funded and they don't care about anything else. They don't want to do a live account, they don't want to fund a personal account, they just want to get funded, and I understand it. But I also think that in some capacity, depending on the prop firm, depending on the situation, and there's a lot of variables that go into it, but in a lot of ways, a live account could help you find consistency that you are struggling to find while getting evaluated and getting funded and all that stuff. That was my initial thought process behind, you know, kind of taking a step back from funded challenges to begin with. And, you know, that's still kind of the case. Doesn't mean I'm going to back down and stop, you know, working on it, but definitely something to keep in mind. So, you know, I would say if you go an even longer, prolonged period of time, like if you've been struggling for a while to get funded, and like you've been at this for a while, like I was at it for a while, and, you know, I'm losing money, and I'm like, even on prop firms where I wasn't even like, I didn't break any rules, I just ran out of time even, right? So it was very discouraging. Let's see here. Can we be above the high? We could. Guys, I'm gonna potentially get short here. I'm gonna let this, wait, don't enter yet, I'm not entering yet. Kind of letting this show its hand. Okay, I'm not entering right now. I may take a short soon. All right, guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get short right now. And I'm actually going to put my stop loss right above this candle's high right here. We're playing off of this this reaction off of this Monday high, Monday AM session high. I'm going to have to set my this is a sell. So I'm going to have to do a buy stop here. Buy stop and then buy limit. I'll do it right here. But yeah, reasons for the trade. We took out sell side, got a market structure shift down right here. This is our fair value gap candle right here. We waited. I wanted this displace pretty quickly through it. And then as it came back down and then was looking like it was going to close below, we only had like 3 seconds left. That's when I entered. So that's the reasonings for that. All right, so I took a small partial, guys, on MetaTrader. I'm trailing this stop loss up. Not necessarily to break even because of where our entry is. I'm going to trail it right to this high. That reduces the risk there on this account to less than half. But yeah, the farthest I would want to see this return to is here. I wouldn't even want to see a return to there if that ends up being, you know, hopefully we can consider these breakaway gaps. Basically, you'd expect a breakaway gap to either not be revisited or not be filled in fully. Fortunately, there's like no way to like, that's why I don't get like too deep into the whole like advanced gap theory as well with what's a measuring gap, what's a breakaway gap, what, you know, it's like you don't even know until price plays out, and then you can like kind of reference that in hindsight. I don't know, at least that's above my pay grade. I wouldn't be able to like in live action like this tell you guys with confidence, oh guys, yeah, measuring gap, oh, breakaway gap. I see a gap, and we're seeing bullish gaps be disrespected here, right? So all good things. You know, expecting another run up. Looking at this price like on the 5-minute, just to find our level of discount, is right down here below where our TP is set. So inverse gap. Oh, an inverse gap is just a gap that got disrespected that you could anticipate potentially respecting inversely. And we did fill this gap already, so I guess it would make sense for us to remove our risk on these positions if you guys got the same fill as me or something like that. This gap was already returned to and it held, and it filled it fully. What does that tell us in hindsight? Common gap. It filled it fully. There's no really point to keep risk on at this point, in my opinion. Either we're gonna get the move or we won't. So I just noticed that, which is why I said that. So, but yeah, hopefully this is all making sense, like in real time, like why we're managing the trade like this. You know, I wouldn't want to see price return above the here. At that point, I would kind of expect this to just continue. So realistically, you could put your stop even, you know, like a tick in profit. So you kind of save spread if you have the room to do it. But for sure, be at least one tick above this high. All right. So I'm out. Glad I took my partial. You guys are seeing in real time how not partialing on this account is literally fucking me at every turn and crack. Nice, I made 15 bucks. So here's why I'm not really viewing, like, all things considered, hopefully this isn't how it shapes up, where it just like tanks from here. But here's what I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing PD array. What do? We tap into the gap. Wick, very strong, all the way back, bullish. Market structure shift. See what I mean? This would be really unfortunate to just have this thing freaking tank. Could look to do something like this in terms of short, but I don't want to see us like, you know what I mean, fill this and bounce. Otherwise, yeah, a limit order here, sell limit makes sense. Trying to get back in the move. You know, stop loss right above this candle high. Fair value gap candle. Fair value gap here, but there's also a little fair value gap here. We can cover both. This one's right at equilibrium, lines up with this breaker. All right, so we just hit discount. That's what this blue line is. Discount of this last price leg up from this low to swing high. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. So now I'm gonna wait for a bullish PD array. It might sell off further, but a little unfortunate seeing this. You can see the difference in this little spike up here that took us out. At break even, but there was no entry here like there was over here. Yeah, man, playing out exactly how we thought it would here, minus this. So let's let some structure form up here, guys. We got macro in 2 minutes. All right, so it's a good sign we're forming some structure. This will allow us to just watch, and you know, maybe price does dip down a little bit lower yet. You know, I think as a society, that's pretty common these days, though, to have everybody on their screens. And can we tighten this at all? This is the 1 minute time frame. You know, this is an order block, but all right, we'll do it. 250. Ooh, shit, sorry. One tick into the gap. Tick below this order block for our stop loss. 3.5 handles. Nice low resistance liquidity run here, which is nice. For a target. Buy limit set here on ES. And this gap lines up with this order block here. This what is it, 3 minute order block? These consecutive down close candles in the form of an order block here. All right, guys, that market executed. All right, well, late risk loss there. Let's go, a little market structure shift there. Can we get this redelivery? So setting up this buy limit off of the 3 minute time frame, guys. One tick into the gap. Stop at the low. You know, here's our market structure shift. 1, 2, 3 minute time frames. You know, going off of a gap that's in a discount now. We only want gaps below this equilibrium. These are trades I'm wanting to put risk on for and willing to put risk on for. But yeah, all reasonings for this trade. Took out internal sell side and got displacement back up. Market structure shifts, even got the close above. Where's our gap that's in discount right here? Stop at the low, entry in the gap. Targeting buy side. Let's take back a look. 15 minute, 1 hour. What are we aiming for? Where do we bounce? Do you guys see this? Order block, where are we aiming? High, internal buy side resting above from Friday AM. Going from one PD array to the next. The short that we took was off of these highs, the sweep of these highs. So right now we've been working on positioning ourselves for a continued move up. And if you guys don't like it, don't take it. I would always say that's good advice. But then you can't get mad if it wins. That's the only thing. You can't say, of course, the one I don't take. But yeah, there could be a world where both of us would be right, Mike, in terms of like this bearish gap. You know, who's to say it doesn't sell off down to here, pick this up, and then come back? At which point this gap would be, you know, if you entered right at the beginning of the gap here, that's 7 points. But yeah, as of right now, it's respecting. If you entered right here, you'd be just back in profit finally. Like I said, we had a little bit deeper of a push here on NQ through these lows. Notice how this low didn't breach this low though. Then we ran it. But yeah, this will be my last trade of the morning, guys. And you know, win or lose. Win or lose, I like it. If it fails, I would expect probably we go run for CPI low. I would say a good TP1. My entry is 1150, so if you want to go 5, just add 5 to that, so 1650. Like this high is a good TP1. Gonna do pretty much the same thing here on MetaTrader, doing nice little partial and. All right, 1 and 2. Mike, bro, you should have taken that sell, bro. So yeah, at this point, I'm expecting a redelivery to here. And if there's any longs to be had, I'm gonna look to take those during PM session. But yeah, I'm gonna cut it there. Pretty annoyed that we were right from the get-go and just weren't able to catch the whole thing or enough of it to matter. So I'm gonna leave it at that, guys. You know, really no way around it. I'm getting my ass handed to me this week. Maybe we can correct that later today and tomorrow. Don't know, but otherwise, yeah, this will be like my first like real red week if it doesn't take a turn for the better. So I apologize about that, but that's trading. So all right, guys, I'm gonna leave it at that. If you guys need anything, reach out, and I will let you guys know if there's anything to go over for PM session. But I will have my eye on things. Okay, have a good day. Peace out. Talk soon.